And we are back with another episode of the Hockey Princess podcast. I am your host, the Hockey Princess. Guys, we have Krusty Old Guy once again. This should be a really, really fun episode because the game against Toronto just ended. We have a lot of feelings. We also have a lot of drama to talk about this week, so it should be pretty entertaining. First and foremost, just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. If you are going to a game this season, any hockey game at all, please wait for the whistle. Do not get up all the pucks in play. And if you are going to a Blackhawk game or a Bulls game or really anything at the United Center, highly recommend Su Taqueria El Rey del Taco over on Ogden. It's great. The food is great. The people are great. And it's just great.
It's great. It's delicious. And it's great.
Ignore crusty sarcasm. That's not at the food. That's at the Toronto game.
No, I'm saying the food is great. That isn't sarcasm. Just because I constantly talk in sarcasm doesn't mean I'm all, well, I guess constantly talk it would mean always, right?
Yeah, that's what that means. First and foremost, before we get into anything, we need to have a little talk about.
I'm already in the garage. Now I'm in the doghouse too? What the hell's going on here?
No. You're not in the doghouse.
Okay.
This is about what we witnessed on Saturday.
What we witnessed?
We need to talk about behavior, friends, at warm-ups. Getting touched is not an expectation at warm-ups. It is not a given thing that you get. I love the signs. I love the fans going down. I am one of them. I've been, somebody who has been going down for warm-ups for a long time. But it is not a given. It is an added bonus if a player chooses to flip over a puck to you. And if you don't get it, you should not be fighting with another person over it to the point where other people are potentially knocked down. And then you also shouldn't continue to yell at this man when you find out that this other man is related to the player that threw the puck over the glass. Be a grown-up, because this individual was a grown-up. And it is not it shouldn't be, something that you expect. It should be an added bonus. I think this also goes for grown-ups that really like to snatch the pucks from the kids, because that's another big one that I've seen, where they kind of just like reach over and it's not mom and dad trying to get the puck from the kid. The pucks are for the kids. And if you are not a kid and you do get a puck, or at least one is close to you, you do the reach. And if you don't get it, that's okay. Krusty, do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, yeah, it was a little weird. I mean, you might as well tell the rest of the story. It was basically some older gentleman who was trying to wrestle away the puck from Patrick Kane Sr. to the point where he had to yell at him and say, "That's my kid."
Almost knocking over mom.
Well, I think mom got pushed there. They handled themselves really well. Know your surroundings too.
Yes.
And if you see somebody with Patrick Kane garb all over them with other people with it also, might want to try to figure out who it is. But yeah, that was a little weird. It's weird that the grown men are going to those lengths. It is for the tiny tots. I understand if it's for your kid and you want to get it, but as Hockey Princess said, make one little grab, and then if somebody, just let go. And the rest of you that are older, just hands in the pockets. It's for the kids for the most part. I know I'll get some crap, blah. That's the way it's supposed to be. I understand if you're reaching for your kid. Don't start wrestling somebody for it.
Yes.
It's just a puck.
It's weird.
It was very weird. We had people behind us ask us what was going on. Obviously, they knew Senior, and I don't believe they were related to him, but they were there, part of the whole gang,
Right.
and they said the same thing that I had thought originally, was they thought they were joking around, but they weren't. So try to know your surroundings, but
Well, because initially, like, there was a large group, and we'll get into it a little bit later, but there was a large group for Kane, and there's usually been, since Kane's been in Detroit, there's been like a large gathering of Patrick Kane peeps when Kaner does come back to Chicago. That wasn't just for this game. There might have been more for this game, but there's definitely like a group there. But I thought, because they were standing next to Patrick Kane Sr., that they were just like a part of the group. And so I'm like, oh, it's like, dad and uncle wrestling over the puck, or dad and friend. Like, I thought it was chill, and then it wasn't. And I was like, this is the most painfully awkward thing to watch. And then he just wouldn't let it go, and just bitching like, well, you're his dad, you have enough. Like, he just kept going on and on about wanting the puck. And I'm like, take the L, apologize, and really just leave. Honestly, at that point, just go.
yeah, it was a little weird. At the end of the day, again, we're a show that really tries not to tell people what to do, but a lot of that stuff.
Because that was more of a borderline physical altercation. We can tell people to not wrestle with other people, in particularly family members of the players. I feel like that's a fair thing.
Yeah, it is. and the rest, just that's for the kiddies.
Right.
And one of the last things that I would like to ever see happen is them get to a point where they don't want the regular public, the people like me who sit up way upstairs, who come down for warm-ups. I'd like to still always be allowed to go down there.
Yeah.
So again, it was a little weird and whatever.
But it did want me to give a shout out, and we talked about this right after. I doubt that. I don't know what this man is up to, but shout out to the Swole Me Man for being the complete legend and opposite of that when I was a kid. Because there used to be a guy that would go down for warm-ups many, many moons ago during the dark ages that they don't talk about during centennial celebrations, and would just yell so much to try to get me a puck anytime I would see him. That dude, wherever you are, we don't know his name. We just refer to him as the Swole Me Man. I hope stuff is good.
Yeah, he was a very good dude. We saw him down at warm-ups a lot, and he really screamed his head off that last game, because I believe you made Ruutu a birthday sign. I think it was the day after Ruutu's birthday or something. And it turned out being Ruutu's last game as Chicago Blackhawk.
Yep.
And he did flip you a puck, and you did get one.
Yep.
All through him wanting to see a little girl made happy. Yes, and he was wacko. He was there with his Finland flag half the time, screaming and yelling. He didn't sit by us. I would have remembered that.
Yeah.
But that's what it's about. It's about you're making memories for some tiny tot. That's the name of the game for all of this. So
yeah. So in short, I just wanted to remind everyone, let's not be weird. Let's not be weird. All right. Getting into
we're not going to talk about the game first.
We're going to talk about the game. Honestly, with the way they played in Toronto, no.
We're live. I think we should talk about the game now.
They're going last.
Oh, come on.
Why? You want to go backwards?
Well, I don't have to go completely, but I'd like to talk about this game before I'm old, before I forget about it.
All right, Krusty, the floor.
And I'm thinking if anybody's tuning in, they would want to talk about the game. They might have questions that they would type in. Or can you not do this? Are we live on like the YouTube or something?
Yes, we are live.
Krusty. Can people type in questions?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
So, all right, Chris,
All right. You don't want to talk about the game?
go for it.
Oh my God! I guilted you completely in. You had to switch up our whole techie area. Oh, that's beautiful. You really overcame. You adapted. Look at you. You just went boom.
Growth. It's called growth, which is what.
Well, you just wait until we get our intern. All of you people at College of DuPage, this is the show to intern with.
Absolutely.
You could do so much. You could learn so much.
All right, Krusty, what did you want to talk about the game?
Oh, we're talking about the game?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to... What'd you think? Huh?
Well, I hated it before it even started because there was no Artie. So there was no party. And indeed, at the end of 60 minutes, there was no party. Thank goodness for Spencer Knight for existing. Because I think this would have been a very different game. It wasn't bad in the beginning, but there was definitely, during the third, I think if we had the goaltending of past, it may have been different and it wouldn't have been decided in the last 5 minutes that they decided to take off. So once again, thank you, Spencer Knight. I miss Connor Bedard so much, like everybody else in the city of Chicago. It was good. I thought Dickinson was feeling it. It was nice to see Dickinson and Mickey Mouse have a bit back to their chemistry that they seemed to have a couple of weeks ago before the bleeding started with this team. I thought it was fine. I think I'm going to be like vaguely miserable while Connor Bedard's out and during this bad time, because if it's going to be bad, I at least want to see my favorite kid up in the NHL. I thought it was fine.
Okay.
It's 0 points when we should have had 2.
Yeah, it was one epic collapse. Again, for me, it reminds me of what the Blackhawks used to do during their cup years. They kind of go through the motions for 50 minutes, and they go, oh, geez, we better start playing. And then bing, bang, boom, and it's over. A constant reminder for this team that every battle matters. And that's all it was. It was 2 battles lost for those last 2 goals. Kaiser with maybe an ill-advised, instead of eating the puck and trying to get it around the side boards, he tries to flip it to Mikheyev. He can't quite get it. It's just a little stick flip rack to Matthews, and you're not stopping that shot. And then the third one, I don't know what Spencer Knight was thinking, and I don't know what Big Lou was thinking.
Spencer Knight was thinking, gosh, it would be really nice if the 5 guys in front of me helped.
I thought they did for the first 50.
Right.
I thought there was... Yeah, and again, I need Spencer. Listen, Spencer Knight's played phenomenal, but I need Spencer to kick that all the way to the side. He can't leave that rebound like that. That can't happen. It's just after, if you have to eat it and just hold on to it, eat it and just hold on to it. Again, lesson learned, hopefully. And as I said, Big Lou, he went through the motions, and against teams, they can just pounce on you like that, and that's what they saw again. I don't think you're getting much I think you're getting a really good optics from Nazar, but at the end of the day, you're not getting much accomplished. I still agree the same with Moore. There's a lot of good optics, but at the end of the day, there's not a lot there. As far as the Artie stuff, what I had heard,
he was late to practice and then got yelled at because Bash and Pop has faith.
I don't know what they consider late, because what I originally had heard was practice started at 10, and I believe he was on the ice at 10, but he didn't get there until like a quarter after 9. And then instead of preparing like he's supposed to and everything else, he's rushing to get ready. And I think that was enough for Bosch. I do believe that's something that'll probably be. Artie's a pretty willy-nilly kind of guy. He needs to understand that this is a professional league. So if you need to send him that message, and I do believe the first drill, he wasn't where he was supposed to be, and that was probably it. You have to show up for practice. You have to practice hard. These are steps for him to learn. He's, as we know, been in North America, 3 years? I'm sure it was a heck of a lot less structured where he was at beforehand. It's just the process for him. I'm okay with it. I am also on board with you. If things are going to go a little south, I'd like to watch the kid play just because, good and bad, he entertains me. He does do that. They held Toronto nicely. As I was thinking about talking about this game before the meltdown that they had, I still thought the same thing of this Toronto team isn't very good. Because I thought it was as much of Toronto not caring as the Hawks playing well. And then I guess they decided to care, and that's really all it took. But it's a quick game. Every situation's a battle. And yeah, that's 2 points that you can't lose. You can't. So that's all I wanted. I just wanted to go over some of it while, Krusty still remembers everything. So, if your listeners had any questions, if they wanted to go on the chat board and scream and yell.
Yeah, there's no point in screaming and yelling.
There isn't. So now I don't know if you want to go back to the normal stuff. I have completely thrown you off, haven't I?
Well, I don't know, because the game before that I really have no desire to talk about.
Well, we could talk about that at the end. Why don't we circle back now? I love giving directions. And I don't know why you're listening to me, but I really guilted you down to talk about the game first. That's like a point for me. I usually can't get my boss to do anything. Yeah, especially because I'm sure you were chomping at the bit for the NHL world.
Yeah, because other people's drama is so much more fun than how bad we're playing. Admit it. There has been some spicy drama this week.
Yes, there's been a lot of spicy drama. So kick it off.
Well, first drama, we're going to start off with one of our favorite guys in the NHL. That there's a rumor that Phillip Danault wants out of the Los Angeles Kings. Now I know what you're thinking. Hockey Princess. Why would that be? Los Angeles isn't doing too bad. Phillip Danault's a great hockey player. What's going on? I don't know, but there's a rumor that he wants out. And my God, he might fall into the robo category where I would be kind of cool just getting rid of whoever just to get Phillip Danault back. But it'll be very interesting to see where he does end up. There are I think there's a few teams that are rumored in the being interested. Unfortunately, we are not one of them as of right now. Maybe after this game, KD starts going shopping, which I would be thrilled. Not really anything against the young kids. I've never stopped missing Phillip Danault since he was traded away the first time. So it really just has to do with me wanting Phillip Danault back than wanting to get rid of any of the younger kids because I like the younger kids.
Yeah, I'm with you on all of it. I did not hear that rumor. I did hear a rumor that they might think of getting rid of him. I didn't hear the rumor that he wants out. So if he wants out, I'm sure there's a market. I don't know what LA would be looking for in return. Again, Phillip Danault is a third-line center. That's his calling card. He upped his point totals with the Kings, but he's always been known as a shutdown centerman. And, like you, yes, that was the beginning of the end.
Yep.
The trade right before the trade deadline that brought us two bigger bodies that really did nothing. And we had a young kid that you could tell was going to be a good third line center, and he was cheap. And I originally, that was Denault.
Yep.
That's how I pronounce his name. That's why Krusty goes with nicknames.
Yep.
All of a sudden later, I'm hearing, no, that's Denault. No shit. Who would have thought that? Look at the name on the back. How's that Denault?
French
There's
Canadian.
like 10 letters.
French Canadian, Krusty.
Yeah. That's before I understood the French Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a market for him, no doubt about it. At the end of the day, it's probably a mistake for LA to attempt to get rid of him. That's a void.
But I love other teams' mistakes.
Yes. As far as us getting, he does not fit where we're at. So it's just that simple.
Nice.
Yes, I completely agree with you.
A girl can dream.
If the times were different, if we were at a different point of this rebuild, yes. But right now, no. We've already got a couple older players that'll be signed for a little while that we're expecting to do stuff. You got Tavo back. Let's not get greedy there, Hockey Princess.
I'm always greedy.
Yes, you are.
Are you kidding? I was a kid that grew up in the Dynasty era. I'm the definition of greedy.
Well, you also were a kid who had to wait till like game 16 before you ever saw a home victory. So you've seen the pain. You remember no cheering at the anthem. There's all this talk about this anthem when you first started going. I had to tell you these magical times when they used to cheer during the anthem. Yes, they didn't. So for all you people out there, yes, we went years without cheering during the anthem.
That is true. Next bit, we've got a couple of trades. Big one that came out Friday morning, which is essentially just a giant goalie swap between Edmonton and Pittsburgh. Stuart Skinner and Brett Kulak, and I believe an additional pick, went to Pittsburgh for Tristan Jarry. Tristan Jarry. And I cannot remember if there's another addition to that pick that got sent back to Edmonton. I'm assuming yes. But that was kind of a big one, a bit of a head scratcher for a lot of people, just because Skinner had been playing well up until that point. I believe he had won like 3 out of his last 4. And Jarry, we knew that Pittsburgh was wanting to move on from Tristan Jarry, but I think a lot of people just weren't assuming that would be the return for Tristan Jarry. I think this is great for Pittsburgh. I think this is a win for Kyle Dubas. I have been waiting since Stan got his silly little job up in Alberta for Stan to do his big one. And guys, Stan has done his big one. Edmonton Oiler fans, I'm sorry. There will probably be a couple of more of these weird ones. He does do them quite a bit. But a little bit of a head scratcher for that trade.
Well, they faced off against each other tonight. Yes. And to explain exactly how it very well might have been just a trade shit for shit, they gave up 9 goals between the two goaltenders. There was one empty netter. 10 goals were scored in the game. 9 goals scored, 1 empty netter. So basically they trotted out their all new pieces and they all wet the bed. So I don't have as much of a problem with Stan doing it as others. I think he's trying to rattle things. He's trying to do things. Stan is famous for doing the spaghetti thing. Yeah. Just start making a lot of moves and hopefully a couple of them pan out. Skinner had time there. They were not comfortable with him. They just thought there was losses in the playoffs at the end of the day. They needed a better goaltender. I don't think they traded for one though. But what can I do? Hey, who knows? Maybe they'll be okay with the Frenchman. Maybe we'll be trading him. And also, as I stated, there'd be nobody picking him up, and he cleared waivers. Yeah, the trade. It's at the end of the day, it's a mediocre goaltender for a mediocre goaltender, right?
Head scratcher.
Yeah. So I get why Pittsburgh did it. I believe Stuart Skinner's only got like this year left. Maybe I think it's just this year. So they wanted to get rid of Yari's contract, and they did.
I mean, you figure that you wanted to get rid of, and maybe Pittsburgh fans will know kind of if it was before, but at least to me, acquiring Artur Sheloff over the summer was kind of the big indicator, at least to me, that you were trying to move on from Tristan Yari.
Yeah. Again, the other big thing you'll always hear in the NHL, what separates a good NHL player to a not good one is the consistency. And Yari's never had it.
Right.
He looks good, then he looks like shit. And Stewart does the same thing. I mean, I don't get a good run. Even the Bob had a couple years like that, but even then he would string together a good 2 weeks. These guys, neither seems to do that. So it's all very wacky.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I give the win to Pittsburgh just because they wanted out of the contract and they got out of it, and they didn't have to retain anything. So
yeah, very crazy. Second big one that happened Friday night. I thought Krusty was joking with me when he sent it to me, guys. And I know other people have used this joke, but I want to use the joke now. While Quinn Hughes did not go to New Jersey, he is now in a New Jersey. Quinn Hughes to the Minnesota Wild for Zeev Buium, Liam Ogren, Marco Rossi, and a first.
yes,
Sent back to Vancouver. Wild. What's even more wild is I don't often listen to Spit and Chicklets, but they had Billy Guerin on, I believe, today or yesterday, or at least a few days ago, and they asked, how long has this been in the works? What if you have you always had your eye? Were you kind of looking at Buium, seeing trying to judge how well he was doing at the start of the year? And Billy's like, we got this in motion on Monday, and it happened on Friday. I'm like, that is wild. Minnesota Wild.
Look at you. The Jersey, the Minnesota. Wow. Have you been lining this one up?
That the Jersey joke has been tossed around quite a bit. Very big trade. As someone who has had to deal with some very big trades, truly every Cup team basically getting gutted. Canucks fans, my heart rarely goes out to you, but my heart is going out to you in this instance because it definitely stinks. Even if you see it coming, there's been trades where Krusty and I have seen the writing on the wall. It still sucks when it happens. They do get, it's not like they got nothing back. There's potential for Vancouver to win this trade if Quinn doesn't extend with Minnesota, if it's sort of but then again, Billy Guerin could easily do a Rantanen sort of thing, flip him again for even more pieces, and somebody else comes out a winner. There's potential where this isn't done yet. There's potential for Minnesota to win this, for Vancouver to win this, for nobody to win this. And, Quinn Hughes is still just left on the bench with his miserable zoned out face. We don't know if this is done yet.
No, that's the first thing with this is listen, you only got him for this year and next year. That's 2 years with Quentin Hughes. Right? Billy Guerin thinks they're close. He wants to compete with the big boys. This is a way to do that.
Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber together is going to be absolutely disgusting.
And as far as Vancouver hasn't lost since Quinn Hughes left. So let's remember that too. And they've only given up 1 goal in 2 games. So hey,
who's in net, Kevin?
I don't know who. I don't know who was in net tonight. I can check real quick. Let's see. Sunday.
Yep.
In net was
probably Kevin, because Kevin's great.
Yeah, it's hard to get that right away. I'll need a second to actually do that. I got to go to the box score, then over to the knuckleheads, and no, Demko's back.
Oh, shit.
So it was Demko Sunday, and tonight it was a shutout for, wait for it, Demko.
Oh, shit.
So maybe they just needed Demko back too.
I think that does help.
Yes, it does, because he's a really good goaltender. So, the catchphrase that everybody was, it was time. And it really was. Vancouver knew they weren't re-signing him. So now you've got to figure out what you can do to get the buzz. Zebulon is supposed to be a power play quarterback. You are eyeing him to, you could easily say, in another year or two, he's one of the top 15 defensemen in the league.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a reach. That's a huge win. Marco Rossi, he wasn't a Billy Guerin guy.
Right.
Vancouver's got a decent amount of size, so they can put big forwards with him while he's playing center. You still get a first-round draft pick, and the other kid was a first-round draft pick, but really hasn't developed. Again, you needed to make the move. It was, you didn't think it could get worse than it was last year, and it did.
Yeah.
So I get where Billy Guerin's coming from. Being the Minnesota Wild, it's different. You have to constantly show your fan base that you're trying. Okay? And that was another way of saying, listen, we're trying. We signed Kirill. We just traded for Quinn Hughes.
Right.
We're in this. He makes your power play lethal with him and Kirill. Is that enough? I don't know if they're now still better than either of the two in the Central. Go ahead. THP.
Quinn Hughes, we like to throw around, we like to do the constant comparison with Chicago, with how the dynasty was built. And speaking of, shout out to the man who built the dynasty, who made an appearance at Saturday night's game. That was a great surprise. But we like to do the constant comparison. So I'm going to do it with Minnesota, though. Could acquiring Quinn Hughes be that Marian Hossa thing? Different, but that's sort of like, because to me, I know it's
I guess maybe,
but it's at least how I saw Marian Hossa, not only for like what he could do, but it was we're serious acquisition. That was the signing of, it's going to be different in hindsight. But could there be a possibility that is kind of what the Quinn Hughes trade is?
It could be. I mean, Minnesota, you always worry about they don't score enough goals. They're not dynamic enough. Well, there's a kid who scores goals and is dynamic. The big thing will be he needs to generate when he's on the ice and Kirill is not. If not, you're still just a one-line team, and that in this league does not get it done. But their goaltending's been good.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, they're stacked. I mean, their third pairing is probably a second pairing on most teams. They've got everything except, is there enough offense? Now, this is a kid that can generate offense for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, It'll be really interesting. I think it'll rest on their two goaltenders if they are able to knock any of the big boys in the Central off. Again, Colorado's running away with that division, so that means your first round matchup is against Dallas. Does that put you over the hump against Dallas? I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, Dallas is going to be adding another player. They have Tyler Sagan's money. So I just don't think, I think you become a lot better, and I still don't think you quite make it. But again, Krusty's not right a lot, so what does he know? It was time. It's great for the league. It's great for Minnesota. And I think Vancouver gets to get rid of all of the garbage. I am still unsure what Pettersson is. I don't know if he's part of the problem or isn't, but it's just it's got to be awful. I mean, I'm a knucklehead hater, but I feel bad for that fan base. That's just some rough stuff. So, good on Billy Guerin. Again, the other part of it is, will he sign long term? Billy Guerin is 3 weeks in Italy to really talk to him. Probably one-on-one dinners. He picked him up from the airport. Billy Guerin's a charismatic guy, so I think he can get it done, but a lot of that will be how far they advance in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
So.
And then final bit of information for another team that my heart goes out to their fan base. But maybe this is a turning point. Maybe. We don't know. Kevin Adams was let go of the Buffalo Sabres. So we shall see what comes with that, friends.
Yeah, that was
I found it was necessary. You had to take something.
It was necessary. It almost had the feel of when Quenneville came and was like a special assistant to the Hawks, and then boom, Savard was let go and Quenneville was coach. Pekka Luki Wakinen, or whatever the new GM's name is, he was brought in 8 months ago as a advice. So this was already in motion. Basically, you had to do this. There's a lot of decisions on who you're keeping and who you're trading, and you want your new person to start doing that. That's business you did not want Kevin Adams doing. Mm-hmm. So it was perfectly the time to move on. I don't know what happens with them. It's awful. I mean, it's just darn right awful, because the last 3 years you've looked on paper and said, that's a pretty decent team.
I was talking with one of our favorite Washington Capitals insider, and maybe this can be the segue to one of the other topics that I wanted to talk about with our hot takes. But I think the Buffalo Sabres and the San Jose Sharks should just do like a massive prospect swap, because you have one team that's incredibly talented on the front end, and then you have one team that's incredibly talented on the back end. I think you should just do like an even 2 or an even 3 across, and just like, you're in opposite conferences, just spread it around a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. Buffalo is reloaded so many times. You got rid of Ryan O'Reilly because things went crappy. Then there's Eichel. It just...
Well, Eichel needed to leave because they weren't helping him.
Well, right, but that had started even before the next stuff. It just... There's always a muck that goes around that team, and I don't think anything... I think they had their chance to cleanse all of it by getting Patrick Kane, and he didn't even want to go there. So, I feel awful for them. The right move was made. You need somebody starting fresh. He's already evaluated the whole team. He is, I am sure, ready to deal. It'll be interesting to see what he does. it'll be interesting to see what happens with Owen Powers, Bo Byron. Excuse me, sorry, Alex Tuck. So
Yeah.
there's a lot there. It's awful. All right, let's go on to something that's not awful.
Prospect report.
Okay.
Awful. And because we're going to do prospect report in Rockford, not super quickly, but I'd still like to get to our fun little topic at the end. We might go a little long on this one, friends. Blame the speed bumps.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Prospect report. You've got 3 goals and 1 assist for Jack Pridham out of the Kitchener Rangers, 2 goals for Merrick Vanaker out of Brantford Bulldogs, 2 assists for AJ Spellacy out of the Windsor Spitfires, 3 assists for Nathan Bem out of the Kamloops Blazers. Providence College is on a break, so I'm not reporting John Mustard or Julia Sumpf until they get back, which is January 2nd. Roman Kanserov, you're looking at 39 points in 34 games. And we actually did get a comment on one of our older videos, Christy, this week, that there is an article with Kanserov saying that he is planning on coming and does want to come here. So it takes away a little bit of that speculation of if he will. There is an interview of Kanserov saying, this was his childhood team that he wanted to play for. He wanted to honor the contract. He wanted to honor it, but then he will be coming over. So just wanted to, yes.
Okay, so this interview,
Yes.
he stated that once his contract is up, he's coming.
That he wants to.
That's all you need is a want.
Yeah.
Contract's up.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. You'll have to give me that link and everything. I'll need to.
Yep.
I guess I am just
Christy's
apprehensive.
Friends.
I'm a skeptic. Yes. I guess that is the best way to put it.
Skeptic about the prospects, but is in love with Bash and Pop. It's just his ways.
Yeah, and that would be a player again. It's the size. It's the size thing that still bothers you because it's another littler guy, but that's a dynamic player.
It would be less sad having Roman Kanserov here while Connor Bedard's out, certainly.
I think he automatically gives you secondary scoring. He's everything that you want except for we still need people that can possess the puck at some point in time, and I'm continue on with the prospects. I don't want to speed bump anymore.
UMass is also out until January 2nd, so nothing on Nostrasso. You got 1 goal from Sasha this weekend with Boston University. They're on break too now until January 3rd. So a lot of these prospects for the next month, I'm not going to be reporting on, and that's just because school is not in session. Adam Guyon splits it against Arizona State University, 1 win, 1 loss. The second loss was kind of bad, taking his save percentage down to .919. They resume back January 2nd as well. And then finally, Christy's real favorite, our favorite football player, our favorite cake eater is back in hockey, guys, with 3 goals or 3 points in 3 games. Mason West with the Fargo Force with the USHL.
Yeah, and I've already told you my comments on that one too.
Yep, and we don't need to hear those comments because we are riding a positive train about our prospects. We could be critical once they're in the show, but we are being positive with the prospects.
Yeah, we are. You're darn tootin'.
And then now jumping to Rockford, we've got a split for the weekend, but the win did give them their first home victory in like 2 months. First, you got the win against Milwaukee Friday. You've got the Frenchman in net. Big Nolan Allen fight on Friday against Milwaukee, which was incredible. I know Nolan Allen is not the smallest of guys, but Ratcliffe, who he fought on Milwaukee, is 6'6". So it's still, no matter what size you are, it's pretty impressive to take down fully take down a 6'6" guy on skates. So props to Nolan Allen. And then you've got Misiak's first professional goal Friday night as well, and a goalie goal, as everybody has liked to see the video so far. Second game of the weekend, one loss. It was just they fall 1-0 against Grand Rapids Griffins. Drew was in net. Unfortunately, the Griffins are just very good. And as I've been screaming for weeks, Rockford has flashes. At least now we're getting flashes. Before it was some rough sauce in the month of October, or not October, in the month of November. But now it's we're getting flashes, so maybe it's slightly better. But, also you've got Lardis called up. You have Moore called up. There seems to be a little bit of momentum with Slaggert back down. You have Tony Nato, who is huge for the Ice Hogs at the beginning of the year, called up with the big club. So I try not to make excuses for Rockford right now. However, a lot of what was going right for Rockford at the beginning of the season is no longer there. One of my grievances that I have with Kyle is, on paper for the first couple of weeks, Rockford always looks great because all the kids are down there. And then a couple of weeks in, guys get hurt or guys get traded, not performing as well. And then they get called up. And then Rockford is just struggling. But a split is a split. And it's always nice to get a win against Milwaukee Admirals.
Yes, it is. And I don't know what the right answer is as far as leaving kids down there. I always thought part of the plan was to leave them down there a little longer and start teaching them how to win. Obviously, that is not the plan. That was the plan for the Dynasty team. They all played together and didn't win a cup, but they played pretty darn good, and they were in the playoffs a good amount. And they all kind of grew up together. And that's not happening at Rockford. There's disjointed, and I think people coming up too early. But
I do have an issue with it, but I also think, maybe Katie's a little afraid to repeat, because I think we were initially going to get that during the free agency when he was signing all those vets. And it was like, we're just going to have like vets and the beacon of hope and a couple of guys that like either are ready or close to being ready to be up here at the big club. And then everybody can kind of cook in the AHL. And then that just did not work at all. So now it's kind of like, we're going to have this weird balance. Granted, there have been kids that have come up that I'm like, you've been doing fine since the call up. Like initially, I was like, Frank Nazar got called up early, but he's been doing fine. I think it would be a disservice to have him cook too long down in Rockford with, of course, the hindsight now. So, but I think maybe it's a case-by-case basis, but like, I understand both. I hate to see Rockford struggle, because if our team's struggling at the big club, I'd rather see the AHL do well. But right now, both are struggling, and I'm just not happy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's everybody's learning how to lose.
Yeah,
which is never good. So things will get better.
Things will get better. They need to. All right. So you guys sent in some stuff that we're going to talk about a little bit because it's fun. And I got a full...
I like fun.
I got a full education lesson about it. And this gives me an excuse to debate stuff with Krusty.
Whoa. Krusty doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an old idiot. Okay.
We threw out the question of what is the hockey hill that you will die on? Be like, maybe it's a controversial opinion or just an opinion that you feel passionately about. And there were some wild ones. First one being, let's see, we've got a lot of different, I wrote some different ones down.
See, when we get the intern, we'll have like another graphic of all of the stuff. So yes, all of you people at College of DuPage who need an internship, email the Hockey Princess. Okay, that's the last speed bump for this minute.
first, and this is one that you brought up that you do feel passionately about, is that the digital boards on broadcasts should be banned, that they're stupid.
Yeah, that could be a hill. It's done. Everybody wants more money, so they're still going to continue. But yeah, I hate the digital board. It's annoying. It's distracting. And I don't ever want to buy anything that I ever see on the digital board. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So
similar, because I do hate that. Similarly, I think the Hawks have, some teams have it, some teams don't. But the advertising now on jerseys that we've got the like Circa Sports or whatever on Hawks jersey, I hate that. I think all of that should just go away. And at least with the black alternate jerseys, you have the option to have that on your jersey or to not have that on your jersey. So when I finally get a black alternate with the Mr. 6'7" on it, once he gets his call up, I will not be getting that ugly patch on it. But I'm not a fan of it.
yeah, but there's a lot of jersey people that want what the players are wearing, and that includes that patch. And that again puts us right back. That's not going away either. Right now, it's not too bad. It's just the one little patch. And you've seen teams in Europe; they have it all over their jersey. So, again, I understand that hill to die on, but that's not even a hill. That hill's already been leveled.
No, it is a hill.
There's no going back.
We don't get to.
So that's the beauty of this question. Is it's so broad that the responses you got were incredible. So I want to tell everybody thank you. Yeah, it was really neat.
It was very entertaining. We did not expect. I think we ended up getting like 200 replies. Christy, because I was not around when this happened, can you explain the story time of Brett Hull's foot?
Because the
amount of replies that we got with this one in particular, I think we need to have a hockey story time.
Well, let's hope Krusty gets this right, and if I do not,
Krusty guy in the comments correcting you.
That's what I'm looking for. But basically, this was in a time. We talk about right now, I don't understand goaltender interference. Well, they never had. This was back in a time where they said, if you're in the crease, it doesn't count. Okay? So, I think it was game 7, overtime, or it might have been game 6. Gosh, see, I wasn't prepared for the story. Sorry. I got caught up in the game and didn't do my research. But basically what happened is Brett Hull's foot was in the crease when he scored, and they ended up counting it, and it costed Buffalo their championship. Everybody says, well, it was close. It was coming out. His foot was in the crease. And it was stated that meant no goal. And so you have especially people in Buffalo that will never forget that. That's one of the few times where you look and say, we had something stolen from us.
Yeah.
So yes, I was shocked at the amount of those that were, but that was basically it. It was a different time. They were still, just like they are now, they're trying to grasp how they want to do this. Because at the end of the day, they like the battling. Mm-hmm. But they don't want to get, you saw a goal disallowed tonight.
Because of that one.
Yes, so did I. It states once it's speared and his pads move, that's a no-goal. So I thought the right call was made. But that is the gist of the curse of the Buffalo Sabres.
Yep. So. Next one. This was probably our top one that we got. And I know, Christy, there is a story to this because I told you this one earlier, was the great opinion of if you're on the penalty kill, you should not be able to ice it. You shouldn't get a bonus, some see it as, if you're on the kill.
Correct. And I don't know when that started. I believe that was during the Gretzky time to alleviate some of the crazy scoring that was going on. I could be wrong on that also. That would be an interesting one. It would definitely make things a heck of a lot harder. But you have teams right now that are scoring at a 30% clip. You've got to figure you raise it at another 5 to 10% scoring. Um, I just I can't see them ever coming to a point where they're doing it. I understand the wanting of it though.
Yeah.
Why are you giving them a break? There's also the why are you giving them a break for the 2-minute penalty after they score? Why does he get to come out? He got 2 minutes. Leave him in there for 2 minutes. That would be another neat one. This league doesn't want to make crazy changes like that. I know that, but I understand that completely. Especially if your team has a good power play, you hate seeing that. So I like the passion on that one too.
Yeah, that was definitely our top one. And maybe this certainly predates me. And this predates your season tickets. But we had one thrown out of a modern like Big Ten hockey team right now. Think like modern like Michigan State right now could easily beat 80s Oilers or 80s Islanders.
What?
Yeah.
Who said that? And they're dying on that hill?
Yeah.
No. Not even close. That team was incredible.
I also
They won 4 in a row.
This was long before my time, but it seems like the further back you go, obviously the more physical the game was. We talked about that with Roenick. Like he was able to do stuff that you just can't do now, are not being taught now. And I imagine that's even more going pre-Roenick. And in college, you can't be physical. You can't be physical in the CHL. You can't be all that physical in NCAA. So there's a whole physicality, like the physicality element of both of those sides for me would be so night and day.
Yeah, but again, Gretzky was scoring 160 points a season back when you could clutch and grab people. Could you imagine if you can't clutch and grab them? He would have put in 200 points easy, which I think he came close to doing once. I could maybe see that with not with the Oilers. The Oilers it was the greatest team I'd ever seen. They were so fast and so skilled. Everyone was. Not that team. No.
We got a lot of, in favor of sports betting because as we can both agree, it's just being shown more, shoved down my throat more. Sports betting versus, scaling it back, trying to do away with it. For those who listen, I am not a fan of sports betting whatsoever. It seems very trivial to me. I also believe that the growth of sports betting has increased the growth of parasocial relationships between fans and players, because you have money on the line. And if you've lost a significant amount of money, you feel like you have the right to, I don't know, release somebody's address because they upset you because they lost you money by how they played. I think that has just grown more. And I think you can definitely tie it to sports betting. And also, I don't know, gambling is an addicting thing. And I don't like for it seems to be very sugar-coated the way that sports are advertising it. And so I'm just not the biggest fan of it whatsoever. So I'm very much okay if we just do away with it.
Right. And again, it's advertising dollars, which we know isn't going away. I'm with people when they talk about that. Um, but again, number one, that's the hill where they're advertising a lot. So it feels like it's being thrown down your throat. That should be enough for any gambler out there to know they're making so much money off of you. It's like insurance. They get to advertise it all the time because they're making a killing off of you.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it has changed the way people watch sports. Um, at least for the younger generation, for your younger listeners, if they could chime in on this at some point in time, that would be great. But I see a lot of people doing prop bets and everything else, and that's it. Hawks win, lose, whatever. This guy needs to score and this guy needs to shoot 4 times, get 4 shots on net, and I win my parlay. I see that kind of fan thing going over the getting behind your team more, where it becomes like selective like that. And also, don't use words that I don't know. You completely lose me. It was a long,
parasocial relationship. So it's a.
Is that like a thought process that the player then owes you something?
Yes, it's a borderline delusional relationship that you create with someone that does not know you whatsoever. You're kind of creating a relationship with somebody where it does not exist. There are this is an extreme case, but stalkers often have parasocial relationships because they think, oh, we're so close because I follow you home from work and I know everything about you. Like it's that sort of thing.
Yeah. I am on that hill. I think it adds a level of yuck to it. It is a way to get yourself in trouble. I know people who spend a lot of their money just on gambling, and that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. At least for me, I had to work pretty hard for my money. I don't want to be given, and there's just no sure thing.
Right.
I mean, a lot of this is parlay bets where you're expecting somebody to score a goal or have 4 shots on goal. You have no idea if that's going to happen or not. You're clueless.
Yeah.
So you're going on a whim without a lot of complete backing. I don't care how analytical you get with stuff. Yes, I would like to see a lot of it gone away. I'd like to see it not advertised too, but again, that's just something that we're stuck with. Unfortunately, I do not like it either. I find it silly, and I think it does. Yeah, it singles out. You start just rooting for a player instead of a team, and it all gets weird to me. So, but that's me. I gamble a little bit, not much.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever gamble thinking, I'm going to make money at this. It's, it's like any other addiction. It's for the little bit of juice on it. Your body gets a little juice, and you got some skin in the game, as they like to say. Yeah, I got some skin in the game, and you let me down. You blah blah blah. Yeah, I'd like it to go away, and yeah, I mean we're constantly getting it, and you constantly get on TNT, on ESPN, their parlays, and all I know is I don't know how Biz has any money. Because the little bit when I started watching a little bit before I completely muted everything in between periods, he was never right. So I don't see how again, if you're just $5 betting, that's all good and fine, but the extreme is not good.
Yeah.
So
and then our final one, because one of our close friends in Washington Capitals insiders wanted to share their hill that they would die on, is that in 2009, Mike Green should have won the Norris instead of Zdeno Chara. So I just wanted to include that for our Caps insider. I'm for it. I wasn't, to be honest, wasn't paying attention to much during that year because we were going through our own dynasty build. But
Well, then I've got one.
Yeah.
I've got a hill to die on then.
What is your hill to die on?
With that kind of thing, is my hill to die on is Ed Belfour should have won the Conn Smythe. He beat Hasek. He beat Roy. And he beat, I think, Fuhrer in 3 series to win the championship and did not get the Conn Smythe. He put a Dallas team on their back. Neuenbeck played really well. I get that. But that was an Ed Belfour championship run. And how he didn't get the Conn Smythe is a hill that I will die on. So I guess in that realm of it, and the other hill that I would die on is, it brings us back to what you talked about at the beginning of the show. I love the warm-ups. I love that the kids get to go down there. Don't ever do anything to jeopardize that. I think it's one of the beautiful things in this game is the interaction. I can remember the interaction with you and your sister when we used to go down there, and Seabrook would wait for you guys to stop paying attention. And the next thing you know, that puck is right on the glass, waking you up. And we would go for warm-ups and be aware of that. And he'd still find it when you guys were lollygagging and boom, there went the puck. And you guys almost wet your pants. So it's a very neat thing. Let's make sure that never goes away.
Yeah, there we go. Christy, what else you got for this week?
I don't think we got anything. I guess we're not talking about the Detroit game. It was yucky.
Somebody needed to show up for us to talk about it.
Yeah.
Mr. Almost 500 did show up.
You know, the team right now, you've got that young line, which I don't think is working, but that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that more next week, maybe.
Yep.
I like NASCAR, but he is going through a funk, and I need more consistency from him. And I get it with his size. This is a hard league, and he's just. You find that out. Everybody plays hard. It's not easy. Mm-hmm. It's easy for Connor Bedard. It's easy for Patrick Kane. Even Jonathan Taves, it wasn't easy for. It's hard work. So the kids just keep at it. That's all I gotta say.
There we go. All right, friends, just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. If you like this throwing out hot takes, let us know, because maybe we'll bring it back in a time.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I think as we go through the grind of this, we're gonna need some other topics of just fun stuff to talk about. So
yes.
I like that. Keep on coming up with those.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you liked us discussing hot takes, or if you have a hill that you would die on in hockey, let us know what it is, and then we can talk about it. And then maybe next week I will come up with my hill, because I still don't. I have many a hill that I will die on. Also, if you are going to the Allstate this weekend for the PWHL takeover, I will be there. I will be on the party bus. Shout out to Babe Sports Bar for getting us a party bus to go to the game and back. It's going to be so much fun. If you are going to the takeover, have so much fun, guys. PWHL games are absolutely fantastic. They're so much fun. It's a very different environment than going to an NHL game. And I hope everyone just has a very, very great time.
And I also need encouragement to get my Abby Murphy jersey. So I'd like your listeners to give me nuggets of encouragement to tell me to throw down on that.
Yes, everyone, please comment. Christy, should we have a number? If we get X amount of comments, you get the Abby Murphy jersey.
Whatever you want to do, it ain't my show.
If we get 15 comments under this video, encouraging Krusty to get an that he should get his Abby Murphy jersey, then Krusty will get an Abby Murphy jersey.
Because remember, support your local hockey players.
Exactly. And that is all, folks. And we will talk at you guys next week.